New Mexicans are required to wear a mask out in public, but while it's a mandate, it's lightly enforced by police agencies, leaving it up to retail employees. Sometimes that can lead to uncomfortable and even potentially violent situations. NMIF correspondent Megan Kamerick talked this week with pet store worker Cody Westfall about his own interaction with an armed customer and with psychologist Dr. Samuel Roll to help explain why masks are such a flashpoint.
Thank you both for joining me here on New Mexico in Focus. Cody, you work at Simply Diego's pet store. Store policy and the state's public health order both say customers must wear a mask, and you had an uncomfortable, a potentially violent altercation with the customer. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, like you mentioned, we are personally enforcing a mandatory mask rule on top of the governor's mandate. We had a customer come in, and I mentioned this to them, let them know that a mask was required. And things escalated pretty quickly. Then he approached me and showed off his semi-automatic pistol that was attached to his holster on his hip, and asked me if I was going to make him wear one. He asked me that twice. The first time I was like, I don't understand what having a weapon has to do with coronavirus, but okay. And I just kind of repeated myself. And then he repeated himself also, are you sure you're going to make me wear a weapon? And at that point, I kind of got the hint that he was intimidating me or threatening me. So, I just was at a loss of words at that point. So I just kind of shrugged it off. And, he gave me a dismissive wave and just chuckled to himself as he walked out the door. So the whole thing lasted about like 25 to 30 seconds. So it was pretty brief, but it definitely felt like it would lasted a lot longer.
Dr. Roll, as more and more states and hospitals and businesses demand mask use, it has become clear that simply wearing a mask has become an expansion of one's political opinion, not a question of public health safety. Do you think that's what happened here, and can you explain this phenomenon?
Sure. I think the political issue complicates everything, but there are certain people, because of their personalities, have a deep objection to anybody ordering them to do anything. So in terms of the developmental stages, if you ever seen an 18 to 2.5-year-old boy, he'll tell you no about everything. Come to dinner, no, even though he wants to eat. Go kiss your Aunt Bertha, no, even though he loves her. Because he's learning the sense of autonomy. And so he exaggerates a sense of autonomy by saying no, even when no doesn't make any sense. And there's some people as adults who are oppositional in that way. And so when you impose them with authority, they feel personally denigrated. And so this is the act of a denigrated man. It's not just political. He feels denigrated, and so he has to show that he is more masculine than you are by showing his gun. So there are some people who will, and we call that dominant stupidity. Some people will show that they're dominant even when it's stupid, even when it's not in their best interest. Even when it's not in the interest of their child at home or their wife or their loved ones, they say, no, you tell me to wear a mask, I'll say no. And the more you sound like you have authority, or more you use authority like the governor, the more upset they get. Because they're like the little kid who's saying, no, I do it myself, I do it my own way.
And authority also means scientific evidence or anything like that.
It does mean scientific evidence, but especially if it means a governor, and especially if the governor is a woman. No, right? A woman, yeah, I'm not doing that. So you try not to invoke the governor because now you're invoking another authority. And he said, yeah, but I've got a gun. So, and I'm a man with a gun on my hip. So you don't have to be a Freudian to know what that means. I've got something that you don't have, and so I don't have to listen to you.
So Cody, did it feel political to you?
Absolutely. I am of the mind that this is absolutely not a political issue. This is like you've mentioned, this is a health issue. This is a science issue. The scientists have stated the facts, listen to the science. But over the course of the last month or so, when this mask issue has taken, front and center page, more and more, like was mentioned, people are taking this as a political stance. This is, people, you're either on this side or you're on that side. There's no neutral ground in this. It's either you belong to this group or this group. It's kind of like tribalism. It is at its worst. So I definitely believe, among just about anything else in this particular political climate, this has definitely been a politicized issue.
What is it like having to confront customers on an issue like this? You've sort of been put in this position in a way.
Yeah, I mean, generally, it's not been too bad. I'd say roughly 98% of our customers are more than happy to oblige with us. And even the ones that come in and we mention it, they're like, oh, I forgot to put it on, or it just slipped my mind. The small percentage of people who are opposed to wearing it will either promptly, leave the store or put up a small fight, and then either again leave the store or put the mask on. So, I mean, most people have been pretty cordial about it. So it's just the super, very small minority of people who are, shouting the loudest or making the most noise that are, getting the most attention.
Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has decided to take her mandatory mask order one step further. She's introduced $100 fines and criminal misdemeanors for those who do not follow the mask guidelines. Is this an appropriate response, or do you think something else would work better?
In this instance, how else are if there was no penalty, no fine, how else is she going to enforce this? There definitely aren't enough police officers. There's not one police officer for every individual, so it's near impossible for a specific set of police enforcers to make sure that everybody is going to wear a mask. So to add a penalty of fine or a blight on your record, I mean, I feel like that's a bit more of a instance to wear a mask. You're not only threatened with the police catching you, but you're also going to get a fine, and it's also going to be considered a misdemeanor. I mean, it's definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, I'm not quite sure what else could be done aside from adding penalties that's going to make people, wear these masks and listen to what scientists have had to say. So
quickly, as we wrap up, Dr. Roll, I mean, you've already said this kind of top-down requirement might not work very well. What do you think would be the best way to get people to follow public health mandates?
Well, and again, most people follow it, whether they're Republican, most people follow it. And some of the people who resist do have some political agenda. But even people with political agenda, or else they'd be about 50-50 or 60-40, whatever the political divide is. It always, when you're trying to get someone, whether it's a 2-year-old child who doesn't want to come to you, or a 10-year-old child who doesn't want to go to the dentist, or a 12-year-old child who doesn't go to school, or a 50-year-old child who doesn't wear a mask, you follow the same procedures that increase the probability of success. One is you try to understand what the person is doing. Sweetheart, I know you don't want to go to the dentist. It's better than saying, if you don't go to the dentist, your teeth will rot, or you won't get candy. So understand any recommendation, and understanding communicates, brings down, and we've done studies, brings down the tension. I understand, sir, that you do not want to wear a mask, and I understand may be inconvenient and you don't believe in it. That itself will calm down most people. You'll understand, show understanding. After understanding, you make an I-thou statement. Not the governor wants you to, because then that ups the odds. You think the governor, I got a gun here, boy. So then you make an I, just like you would with a kid. I know it's not fun to go to the dentist, and I know you don't like it, but I need you to go to the dentist. I know, sir, that you feel uncomfortable and you don't think it's reasonable to wear a mask. I understand that. But I'm asking you to do me a favor, and I wish that you would wear the mask while you're in this store.
Well, there's so much more to talk about on this topic. I'm sure we'll continue to be talking about it for a while. Thank you both so much for joining us to discuss this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me on.